have come to realize the importance of quality information in order for us to advocate in all areas of our own health. And these events are perfect because they put us right in front of the experts. We can absorb the information in person, and I think they're a lot of fun. I often get asked, though, if men are allowed at Girl Talk on Health. And my answer is yes, of course, especially when they're going to cook for us. This month, we are delighted and honored to have a celebrity chef, Craig Chaskey, with us, not only to cook for us, but to also teach us about something I know very little about: certified, pure, therapeutic grade, organic, digestible, essential oils. A mouthful, and every time I've had to repost that, I have to copy and paste because it's too much for me to remember. Chef Craig has an impressive and lengthy culinary experience of employment at prestigious venues such as the Hermitage Restaurant, Chelsea Place Restaurant, Great American Health Bar, Woods Restaurant, and Gramercy Park in New York City. He has been an owner and executive chef of the Underhill Inn Restaurant and Catering. He had a gourmet product line that was in 57 stores. He taught cooking classes on the Food Network, ABC TV, and NBC TV. He has been a private chef and caterer for names such as Cary Grant, Jackie Onassis, Salvatore Dali, Mick Jagger, Donald Trump, Brooke Shields, Mariah Carey, and the New York Giants Super Bowl party in 1991, just to name a few. Chef Craig has been featured on the Food Network, New York Times, New York Magazine, Yankee Magazine, Sarasota and Manatee Herald, ABC and NBC TV, and most recently Edel Sarasota's Cooks Magazine, which you all get to take home with you today. Please help me welcome culinary instructor, motivational speaker, nutritional advisor, and celebrity chef Craig Chaskey.
Wow, now I feel really old. It's a real honor to be in a facility that is making a difference on the planet today, and I have a lot of admiration for Florida Blue and its staff who was so kind to run out to my car today and eat as they were bringing stuff in. No, but seriously, I just want to acknowledge Bree and Angela and their staff for having us here tonight. We wouldn't be able to do this, so if we just give them a round of applause. Gosh, I don't know where to start, and I've done this a few times, but I ran track professionally for about 3 years. I tell everyone I was the fastest white guy in my school. I was the only white guy in my school. But I hated to be chased, and I always hated to chase someone. I don't know if you've ever gone through that in life, but I did learn from my track coach, who took an interest in me achieving optimal running. And it's funny because I tend to jump around a little bit. I'm kind of like the Tigger. If you look at Winnie the Pooh, there's all different personalities in Winnie the Pooh. There's the rabbit, who's kind of analytical. There's, who else? Eeyore, who, will find a way for it to rain if the sun's out. And there's Winnie the Pooh, who kind of like just, the world could be blowing up and he would find something happy about it. And then there's Tigger. So I always say that we all have a little bit of each of those characters in us, okay? And that has to do, too, with health and diet. And I want to say I was blessed to be able to burn my hand on the stove at the age of 6. My hand's okay, just to let you know. But I've always loved the heat in the kitchen, and I've always been very passionate about what I do. So if you see me kind of bounce around tonight and get excited, is because I still am excited after all these years. Now, I don't know I met most of you tonight, and I apologize if I didn't have that personal high touch with you, because with the technology we have today, I don't see a lot of eye contact at restaurants. I see people talking to each other on their little phones, right? And the way I grew up was that we had conversation at the table. And I had to ask permission to be excused when my dad was present. Imagine that. And our conversation about life was right at the table, which I think is important. Well, I still think that's important, and there are principles and there are techniques, and I believe principles stay the same and technique can change. Can we agree with that? Okay. And this isn't TV tonight, so feel free to interact with me, and if you laugh at my jokes, I won't have to start over. And that means we could be here all night. So I would appreciate you if you kind of like, I'm like Tinkerbell, you know, when you do this for Tinkerbell, she tends to kind of flutter around, and when you don't do that, you kind of like look at me like, what am I talking about, which you might do tonight. Then, you know, I realize I need to change the subject. But I'm here my intention tonight is to empower you. My intention tonight is to have you leave here with some new knowledge, some new information, some new discoveries in what we're going to be talking about that's going to blow your mind. You think you came in here for a cooking demonstration and a taste, you're going to walk out of here very content, okay? And you're going to feel empowered when you eat this food, because there's certain properties that we utilize in life. Because when I counsel with people, and I have a lot of clients that I cook for, my first question is, what did you have for lunch yesterday? They usually can't remember. So then I'm wondering, did you eat out or did you eat in? Because the implement sometimes, if it's that nonstick pan that's starting to scrape off and you can't remember it, it's because that stuff that you just ingested is making you forget. Now I'm from the 60s, so I might repeat myself a few times. So I'll apologize in advance. But the exciting part is I believe you need to have fun, Thomas, when you're cooking, right? Okay? Because when you're not having fun when you're cooking, your food tends to come out pretty crummy. So I'll put music on in our house, and Pam knows that if I'm having fun, she's in for a really good meal. Okay? So it's real important for me to kind of like bring that into my life, and I hope you tend to have a little bit more fun, because my grandfather, God bless him, lived to be 95. And before he passed away, I said, Pop, what do you attribute your longevity to? And he said, a good sense of humor and a good diet and working out. And what I've noticed is I go to a lot of different gyms. And I'm 175 years old. If you looked at my bio and you heard Angela's introduction, it's true, right? Okay. I'm just very well preserved for my age. And that has a lot to do with what I eat. And I'm going to starve you for a little bit, because what I want to do is I kind of want to help you get out of your head a little bit so that you can get present here, because I have no idea if you got a ticket in that speed zone that I passed over the hill or how your day was, but I just definitely want to bring you here tonight. So I always like to start out with a joke. Is that okay? All right. Let's see. There are 3 women, and they're all in their upper 80s. And they're kind of just trying to enjoy life a little bit, because when you get to be 80, you know, you've got pretty much 3/4 of your life spent. Agreed? Well, we're going to show you how to live longer today. But one of the sisters decides she wants to take a bath. So she's going upstairs, and her name's Thelma. So remind me, her name's Thelma, okay? Can you do that? All right. So Thelma's going upstairs, and she gets all the way up into the bathroom where her bath has been drawn, and she puts her foot in, and then she takes it out, and she goes, did I get in the tub, or am I getting out of the tub? She can't remember. So she calls for help. And she says to her sister, Annette, Thelma and Annette, right? She goes, Annette, I need some help. I don't know if I got in the tub or out. So Annette's going upstairs as fast as she can to help Thelma. And as on her way upstairs, she can't remember if she went up to the bathroom or she's coming back down. So Thelma and Annette, right? Annette calls for Louise, which is the oldest sister. And she's in the kitchen, like kind of like messing around. And Louise, right? Okay. And Louise says, I'll be right on up. And for good measure, because she says, you know, she tends to forget, she knocks on wood and she goes, I'll be right up. I have to go to the door and see who's there. So I appreciate you laughing at that. But it's important to have good memory, right? So how do we fortify ourselves? How do we empower ourselves? How do we stay? If you noticed when Angela was talking, I was taking this little bottle. I was taking one drop, and I was putting that right in my palm, which is a pretty good surface to absorb. And I was rubbing that in, and that's called On Guard, which my colleagues, and this is Christine and Scarlett, and without them, I wouldn't be here tonight. And they're my coaches. It's always good. Would I say it's always good to have a mentor, or better have a mentor than a tormentor, right? So they mentor me, and thank God for them because they are very good at what they do, and they're going to explain more. I'm the chef, you know. Isn't it good to have like one of those around? And then it's good to have someone who likes to enjoy eating, right? Because you can be a chef, and if they're not eating, it's not going to help you out. All right. So, who knows about essential oils? Okay. Some of you didn't raise your hands, and that's okay because I asked someone I was coaching once, "Are you excited?" And they said yes. And I said, "Well, notify your face." So anyway, we've heard of massage, and we've heard of what's that? Aromatherapy. When I walked in here tonight, first thing I said to Bree was, "Wow, this air is so clean in here." Did you notice that when you walked in here? I mean, besides smelling the food because it's aromatic. It's like I like purity. I like good air. You know, I like good environments. And I always used to joke when I lived in New York because people would jog in Central Park behind buses. You know, I was like, what's up with that? So anyway, I'm doing something a little bit different. And I had the privilege of meeting Christine and her husband, James, at a housewarming party that Pam and I had. And they were in the back with these little vials, dipping these oils. And I'm like, what's going on? You know, is it legal? Right. You know, I was like, wow. Well, if it's legal, I'm in. So, but no, this is the whole thing. I had Lyme disease in the 70s. And not too many health companies would take me on with a pre-existing condition like that. Agreed? So I'll just let you know, I was desperate because I was on my back and my spine was deteriorating. I had no memory left. My vision was failing me. And I was just pretty much down in the dumps. And what I did was I found a rhizome. Does anyone know what a rhizome is? Rhizome is something from the root. And I contacted someone who was doing alternative medicine. And the next thing I know, in 9 months, I was walking again and biking and running and, you know, so I have my own testimonial of what it's like to see kind of like the light and then kind of come back. And the interesting thing about that is tonight I have the opportunity to share with you, and I put this on Facebook, one of the best secrets that's been on this planet for the longest time that has kind of been covered up. I'm half American Indian. And my joke is when the Pilgrims landed, we weren't hiring. Okay? And most of the medicinal healing properties came from plants. Agreed? And now a lot of those healing properties still come from plants, but they're used with a lot of synthetics. With like drug companies. And if anyone's in the drug business, God bless you. I think that's great. And, I always believe if you get sick enough, get to a doctor. But what if we could boost your immune system naturally? What if the foods that you're already eating right now can have a drop of oil incorporated into it and enhance it and fortify it to the point where it would benefit you? Is that okay? Yeah. See, I like to get permission, because if I don't get permission from you, then there's no reason for me to go on. Does that make sense? Okay? And we're kind of strangers right now, but I'm going to consider us friends. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I care about making a difference in your life. And if I can do that tonight with one person, then I've completed my task. Okay? So I'm going to tell you what we're doing. On the back of that little shelf card, or whatever you call it, what are they called? Back cards. I'll get that right eventually. My dad used to say, son, you can be politically correct or rich. And I choose to be rich. So on the back of that rack card is a great recipe on a really well-known dish that I had in my 4-star restaurant in the Berkshires. Does anyone know where the Berkshires is? Massachusetts-New York border, in between two ski resorts. And when I moved down here, the first bumper sticker I saw was free snow removal. And when I saw that, I was like, I'm staying here, because I got tired of shoveling, So the cool part about that recipe is that I did that in 1988. I don't know how many years that is, but let me tell you what I did differently. I took that same recipe, and I've always cooked with lemon, and I've always cooked with oregano.
It's next to the red. No, it's next to the red pepper.
Red pepper.
So you need to move your saute pan.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Sure.
Basil. Now, I didn't know basil calms the nervous system. I also didn't know it's for pain or skin conditions or sore muscles or joints. I just never knew that. I didn't know oregano oil is the highest, strongest anti-inflammatory drug, reversing pain and inflammation, and has nearly the same power as morphine as a painkiller, but it doesn't kill your liver. You ever watch these infomercials or these commercials on TV that said they'll give you, longevity, or they'll give you, they'll reduce your cholesterol, and then the disclosure is longer than the commercial, that it'll kill your liver and your kidneys and everything else? Isn't that crazy? I learned about certified pure therapeutic grade organic digestible essential oils is that they penetrate the cell wall. And I was doing that when I had Lyme disease with a rhizome that was from a root of a plant. Pretty amazing, huh? It's kind of funny how things come back to you a little bit. So tonight, lemon, and our lemon's from Sicily, and I have a little bit of Italian in me. I'm really mixed up. So, but I talk with my hands a lot, so that you'll understand that's where the Italian comes out. But in lemon is amazing because what it does is it is an excellent antibacterial agent. Also, a great furniture polish. So you remember the double mint, 2 mints in one? So you get two, it's like, isn't it kind of cool that you can get the properties of something and do 2 things or 3 things with it? Is that kind of a good deal? Like when you go to the store, isn't it kind of good when you get a deal and you can use it for many, many multiple uses? I did this recipe back in 1988, and it's the same recipe. It didn't change, but the technique changed because I added these essential oils, and it made me feel better. It gave me more energy. It cleared my sinuses up. It helped my joints. I was like, I'm in. These quinoa cookies that you'll be eating after we eat are made with oat flour. There's no butter. There's grapeseed oil. And there is 4 drops of wild orange oil in 14 dozen cookies. Okay?
The recipe for those are?
We're going to talk about that
Okay.
shortly. Okay. And just want to let you know that we're going to start cooking now. Any questions so far? Are you guys with me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Rehydrate. Very important. If you haven't gotten any water, there's some water over there. I drink 1.5 gallons a day. And I put a drop of lemon oil in my water. Don't put it don't leave it in the plastic, because Christine's going to do a demonstration shortly and show you when there's synthetics involved, what happens in synthetics, or if you're detoxing, what similar to what's in your stomach. Oh, very important. I'm so glad I reminded myself. I use an 80-20 rule. Can you guys hear me back there? I use an 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule is 80% alkalinity, 20% acid. Why? Cancer can't exist in an alkaline-based body. Someone very close to me had breast cancer. I got her in remission, and I changed her diet around with her permission. And no problems right now. And there's actual oils that we have, and I'm not a physician. My background is nutrition, but I can make suggestions to you to help fortify and increase your longevity. You know, it's great to have money in the bank, you know, but if we can't be around to enjoy it, what's the sense? Correct? So let's be around together a little bit longer to enjoy it, a lot longer to enjoy it. Okay, so in this recipe is extra virgin olive oil. Organic. Why organic? And I'm going to start cooking. This dish takes me all of 5 minutes to cook, and you can time me. That's a quick saute. It's called à la minute. It's funny, you know, it's French, right? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but I know saute means to jump in French, and I know à la minute means in a minute. It's pretty good, right? All right. 2 points I want to make. How are we doing time-wise? Am I good? Okay, good. Third? Oh, great. Perfect. Okay. 2 very important points. Staying committed to eating healthy and exercise isn't easy. That makes sense? Staying committed to eating healthy and exercise isn't easy. Is anyone else agree besides myself? Now, I don't have a bag of Dorito chips scotch taped under my bed. But I do cheat. I'll admit, I cheat. Okay? But what I do is I fortify myself if I'm going to go off to the side. And after biking with Pam 21 miles the other day, she goes, come on, you can do it. You know, after the first 7 miles, I was like on my bike going, you know, trying to not. But you know what's so cool? I rubbed clove bud oil on my knees, and I took some frankincense and put it on my lower back. And the next morning I woke up, I didn't sound like the Tin Man. Imagine running track professionally 3 years up bleachers, 2 hours nonstop. That's a lot of stress, Thomas, on your knees. I know you played ball. I'm not arm wrestling you tonight. Okay. So staying committed and eating healthy and exercise isn't easy. So what we do is we incorporate, and that's why we incorporate certified therapeutic pure grade essential oils that are digestible and organic. And my whole thing is I want to empower the consumer, you, to find out what you need. It's not about what I need, it's about what you need. Why eat organic? Can anybody answer that?
No growth hormones.
No growth hormones? No pesticides? Someone said chemicals? No GMOs? Boy, I don't even have to read this. No artificial flavors or preservatives. Because there are some essential oils out there today that you can go to Richard's or Whole Foods or Fresh Market or wherever you want to go, but my question is, are they pure, and is it indigenous? Is it from the source? Pam will tell you this, when I shop, I'll go to 4 different places and shop because I want the best of the best if I'm putting it in my body. What blows my mind, I helped write the Aprons program for Publix when I moved here. And it was a great program, but, and I got to be careful, but what blows my mind is when you're shopping for ingredients to duplicate a recipe and you see an inexpensive ingredient that's on sale or something, and I don't know about you, but I read labels. I'll turn it over. I want to know sodium content. I want to know fat content. I want to know carb ratio. I want to know if it has sulfates in it, nitrates, nitrites, MSG, any of that sort of stuff. BHT, any of that sort of stuff. So what we do is we buy something inferior, and you go through the line to pay for it, and you spent 40, 60, 80, 20 bucks, whatever the case may be, and you get home and it's just not quite the same. You ever had that problem? So if you duplicate this recipe tonight, I hope you do it to create the same taste, flavor, and nutritional property. I went to CIA, Culinary Institute of America, not FBI. I went to CIA, right? And what they teach you is the circle of excellence. And the circle of excellence is presentation, of course. We want things to look good. We agree to that. The other is flavor, which is important, right? When you eat this tonight, so now I'm really putting myself on the line. You're going to look for flavor. And then most importantly is nutritional value. Right? Okay. I wish we had I'm just going to sanitize my hands real quick. This is called On Guard. And there's a lot of different properties in there. And I don't know if you have flu in your home ever, or get sick, or know someone that's gotten sick before, but this is a great way to fortify yourself. This is a saute pan. Okay? It's baked on non-stick. So it's not a sprayed-on non-stick. So, and it's got 4 alloys, which is good, and that's a whole nother seminar. And hopefully, if you like what you went through tonight, you'll follow us because we're going to be doing a lot of teaching and a lot of different classes. And did anyone pay anything to come tonight?
No.
Oh, pretty good deal. Okay, cool.
Amazing.
All right. Let's try that again. There we go. I had a mentor once said, "Fake it till you make it." All right. Just this is extra virgin olive oil, and the funny thing about it is when we use extra virgin olive oil, the smoke point is a lot less than grapeseed oil. I cook with grapeseed oil too. High in linoleic acid, vitamin E, it's an antioxidant. Its smoke point is 450 degrees. And it doesn't lose its properties when you heat it up. So if you're using olive oil, medium temperature. And anyone have electric at home?
Yes.
Are you tending to dry your items out and, kind of burn them a little bit, dry them out. That's because your temperature is too high. Go medium high. If the recipe says high, go medium high. Okay. I got carrots in here. Julianne, some carrots. Julianne, some. Oh, and by the way, when you're cutting, just make a claw. Do the OK sign. Don't do that in Italy. It doesn't mean OK. I found that out, and you'll get chased down the street. So, and then just kind of fold your fingers in like that. Make a claw, and that's a great way to measure. And always the point of the knife on the board, and that way you won't cut yourself. And you can measure it. And Julianne means matchstick. And why do we want everything the same size? Cooks equally. And presentation. Right? All right. These are Holland peppers. And they're organic. You spend a little bit more, but you'll also digest it a little bit. This is a organic zucchini squash. When you cut the zucchini, let me move this for you. When you cut the zucchini, increments like that, all the same size. Stand it up so you have a flat surface. Come in about 1/4 inch. And then make your little claw. And then you've got your matchstick. I know you're asking, what is he going to do with the middle of it? I'm going to use it for stock, for soup. Now, for Thanksgiving, I took 2 monster turkey carcasses and created a whole bunch of soup. So that was really cool. Anyone vegetarian in here? Excellent. So you could just do it without the meat in there. Oh, by the way, this dish is vegetarian. Is that okay? Excellent. And if you made it with rice pasta, it would be gluten-free. And some of the best rice pasta is Ticchiata. You get a hold of Ticchiata. It's one of the best brands.
What's the name?
Ticchiata. Don't ask me how to spell it.
Is it vegan or vegetarian?
Which?
The dish.
The dish is vegan. Yes. Okay. Garlic. Okay. This room will never be the same, Bree.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I've got some sun-dried tomatoes that are julienned already, Kalamata olives. Let's see. What's in my little stash? Peppermint chocolate bark for dessert with peppermint oil. Anyone ever get a migraine? Anyone ever get a headache? Anyone have a problem with that? The barometric pressure in Florida when it changes? How about if you could like get yourself in shape that you wouldn't have to do that? Like, oh, my head's killing me. Pretty cool deal. I'm going to show you how in a bit. All right, so the garlic, garlic's an aromatic, and what you want to do is you want to cook the gas out. It's like an onion or a shallot or a scallion. They have gas. You ever gone to an Italian restaurant, in the middle of the night you wake up and you're like going burping or have indigestion because the chef didn't take the time out to cook the gas out. So if you've never liked onions, that's because when you were growing up, someone didn't cook them long enough.
How do you not burn the brown?
Just take it off the pan like I just did. All right, so we got our julienne vegetables going in there. But to answer your question, Aaron, when it starts changing color and gets a little bit opaque, that's when you want to just tone it down a little bit. So I got sun-dried tomatoes, olives. I don't know what I did with all my artichoke hearts. I know what I did with them. They're in here. Everybody see that? Okay, now watch this. All right, so that's pretty much the topping. And then, of course, I would add some artichoke hearts to it. Oregano, basil, and lemon in that recipe, correct? You guys see okay over there? One drop. And that was lemon. This is oregano, one drop. Wow. One drop of basil. This is 50 to 70 times stronger than herbs. I'm just going to walk it through here so you can get that smell. They're going to Photoshop this for me, so yeah, I just kind of want to have that permeate the room a little bit. Okay. Now I got to do the same thing with this big batch, and if you notice, I didn't put it in prior to you getting here because have you ever made miso soup? Do you know about the instructions when you're making miso soup? To put the miso in at the last minute. Why? It's a great question. Because the enzymes will lose their beneficial properties if you put it in too early. So the same thing with certified pure therapeutic essential oils. You want to put it in the last minute. Now in baking, the wild orange that's in here, that's from the Dominican, 4 drops in 4 dozen cookies. And you'll still taste the wild orange. I know you've been dying to grab one of those. You'll still taste the wild orange. In the peppermint, 4 pounds of Callebaut dark organic Belgium chocolate, which I love to use, lowest in butterfat. I made a chocolate chambord cake at my restaurant. I wish I knew about the oils then, because what I did was with the chocolate bark, I infused the peppermint into it, and I did Pam's like, oh, we'll put some white chocolate on it, and some peppermint candy canes on it and stuff. And we did, and oh my gosh, it was like, wow. It was just amazing. So, okay, here we go. That's perfect. Basil, 2 drops. It's a little bigger. Oregano, 2 drops. And why on the outside of the pan? Because when you deglaze, and deglazing is putting any liquid into a pan and getting what's called the fond. The fond is the foundation, and when you've cooked and like, oh, look at the bottom of the pan, that's where all the nutrients are. So you want to utilize those nutrients. So the reason on the outside of the pan, because then it goes to the center. And this is lemon, my favorite. We're going to put 1 drop over here. Oops, I cheated. But this is how strong this is. Whoops. That's what happens when you start reading about 10 years ago. You can't see anymore. All right, I'm just going to cover that up and let that cook. What does the recipe say? Does anyone have it in front of them? 4 to 5 minutes?
Add all the veggies.
Add all the veggies. We did that. Add what?
After you add the pasta, it's another. But it's 4 to 5 minutes. And
Okay.
then the pasta.
All right.
Cook another 2 minutes.
So the pasta would be added to here. Turn that up a little bit. Get that hot for you. All right, let's see what's going on. Ooh, I like that sound. We'll let that heat up just a little bit more. But we're here, and you don't have to get fancy. You can use tongs and stir that up if you want. I like to use wood and metal, so I'll use a wooden spoon. And you get that nice presentation of all the vegetables. And you notice they've held their color because we've cooked it for a very short period of time.